In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to flip that switch to make any beautiful woman borderline obsessed with you using one specific sequence of physical touches, using the same trigger sequence used by luxury ads, cult psychology, and addiction studies. Now, this isn't just normal flirting. We are setting off a psychological chain reaction where each touch you give the woman releases this micro hit of dopamine straight into her emotional brain. And I've tested this very sequence with hundreds of men over the years. And the ones who did this don't just go on more dates, but the quality of the women they date is also 10 times better. And by the end of this video, you too will know how to touch a woman that slips right past every defense she has, where it will not matter if you're older than her. It will not matter if you've got the dad bod or that you're not 6 feet tall. When you use this touch sequence exactly like I'm going to show you how, none of it will matter. Hey there, I'm Jesse Keaton, and I've been coaching men's dating for over 20 years now. And I've dedicated my life to helping you older guys get those beautiful younger girlfriends that you really want. And you have to understand this one thing. It's not just your looks that get the girl, guys. It's the feeling you create deep inside of her mind. It's the emotional journey that you take her on that gets the girl. You know, we men, we just fall for what we see in front of us, and we're pretty simple that way. But women fall for what they feel inside. And that's why she can hang around a rather handsome guy and actually feel very little for him. But one right touch from you, in the right place, in the right way, and suddenly you can have her feeling those butterflies deep inside her tummy. And I've seen this happen again and again. But before we go any further, I need you to promise me one thing here. You need to promise me that you do not use this to manipulate women, that you do not use this to play games or hurt other people. Because what I'm about to show you is pretty damn powerful here, and you need to use it with integrity. You need to use it to build real loving connections. And as long as you promise me that, we can go full steam ahead. Now, first we need to expose one big brutal lie first, and it's this. You were sold, gentlemen, a scam. Since you were a little kid, everyone, from your parents to your teachers to the movies to the media, they all drilled one message deep inside your brain, that you needed to be a nice guy, that you needed to be gentle, to be safe. They told you that women were these delicate little angels, that masculinity was dangerous, that strength was toxic, that being harmless was the way to win a woman's heart. And you bought into it. So you became the gentleman, the listener, the polite one, always doing the right thing. And beautiful women have punished you for it every single damn time. I mean, look, I'm sure you've had the moment where you're standing next to a beautiful woman that you want, and she's smiling, she's laughing, she's leaning in, she maybe even makes eye contact with you, and the spark is there. You can feel it there, but you freeze up. You play it safe. You don't initiate with her. You don't touch her. You don't even move. And in that single moment, you become invisible to her. And that, gentlemen, is the friend zone. That's where nice guys go to die. And here's precisely why the nice guy fails almost every single time. It's because he's logical, he's polite, and above all else, he is harmless. While that woman's body is starving, it is crying out for some physical sensation. You think attraction is all about looks or money, but it's really not. It's about the feeling that woman gets inside when she's around you. And giving her the feeling of comfort alone isn't going to cut it. Comfort without any tension can actually kill the attraction. No, that woman needs to feel a roller coaster of emotions. She needs to feel safety and a little bit of danger. She needs to feel warmth and a little bit of edge. But nobody ever taught you that. So every conversation you have with a beautiful woman turns into static, turns into polite words with no spark, no chemistry, no pulse. And that sucks. That needs to end today. So here's exactly what we're going to do. In this video today, I'm going to show you the exact touch sequence that flips the script on her, that makes her feel real fireworks inside every time she's near you. And yes, even if she's younger than you. Yes, even if there is a big age gap. And at the end, I'm going to show you something really wild. A move called inception touching. That's where she touches you. That's where she chases you and you just lean back, you relax, because she's the one making all the moves. Now, by the way, I want to share this with you real quick. This is one of my guys. He messaged me the other day and he wrote in, "Hey, Jesse, I'm pumped for this date, thanks to you, but I feel like I'm going to fumble it somehow. She's my tenant. She's 24 years old. For context, I am 45. And I'm hearing this sort of message all the time, guys. Look, if you're tired of having those polite, nice guy chats that always die out and you want to flip those conversations into actual sexual chemistry and go on fun dates with the girls you want, then you want to listen up. I've got another free video you can watch linked in the description below where I break down how to go from nice guy chatter to what I call conversion conversations. The kind of conversation that actually pulls her in straight towards you. And in that video, I'm going to show you how we can work together one-on-one to get you the exact kind of girlfriend that you actually want. So when you're done watching this, go hit that link in the description and you can see exactly how we can make that happen. All right, so let's fix this nice guy disease once and for all. And this is the antidote here. It's what I call the touch escalation ladder. This is a system that flips you from being safe and forgettable and boring to being the man that she cannot stop thinking about. And it is a sequence where each touch you gives the woman builds upon the last one. And if you follow this progression correctly, even the sweetest girl, even the most innocent girl out there will melt as soon as you touch her. All right, so let's start off simple here. The first type of touch you want to start doing is what I call the incidental touch. And this is the foundational move. This is the gateway move that breaks through that touch barrier without setting off any alarm bells inside of her head. And here's how it works. You're in a conversation with a beautiful woman, laughing, relaxed, gesturing naturally with your hand, and your hand just happens to connect with her physically. It could be a light touch on the shoulder, a quick brush on the arm, and that's all it is, guys. It's really subtle and yet insanely powerful. Because here's what's really happening, gentlemen. Even a small, light, incidental touch on her shoulder, on her arm, sends this chemical ripple shockwave right through her brain. Because of oxytocin. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, floods in. And suddenly, she doesn't just like talking to you, but she feels something truly magnetic about you. I had this one client, total nice guy, and he's talking with this girl, laughing with her, pretty much doing everything right, more or less, except that he's so damn stiff. He had his hands down in his pockets with zero touch going on. So I told him, look, man, you gotta fucking loosen up. Keep your hands up above your waist and gesture naturally when you speak. And when the right moment hits, touch her shoulder when she laughs. And look, he did it. With a couple small brushes of his hand, you could visibly see her entire body language change. Her body turned more towards him. She started batting her eyes more, smiling more. She started flipping her hair around. And boom, gentlemen, that's how fast it can all happen. Even the smallest incidental touches can completely change everything. Now, don't expect this to click for you overnight. Okay, you've got to practice it. You've got to get in some real world reps, talking to real women, using those hand gestures where you test, you adjust, and you repeat. Because doing this in the right way can build lots of sparkling sexual electricity. But doing it in the wrong way can get you labeled as a creep. So you want to go out there, get some guidance, get some feedback from a professional, and dial this in until it starts to feel second nature for you. Next up, gentlemen, we've got the social touches. These are also gateway moves to break through that touch barrier with the girl. These are touches that look completely innocent on the surface, but under the radar, they are dripping with sexual charge and electricity. They're low risk, totally socially acceptable, and yet, when you add the right tone to them, when you add the right energy, the right eye contact, they will light her up like a Christmas tree. So here's how you're going to pull this off. You're going to touch her in ways that are totally socially normal. Okay, a handshake, a high five, a playful fist bump. But you're not doing them in the same way that every other guy would. No, you're going to do them with tension, with friction, with a little extra spark. For example, when you introduce yourself to a beautiful woman, you don't just say, hi there, like every other guy would. No, you're going to give her what's called a charged handshake, or what I sometimes call a horny handshake. But this handshake has an extra special little twist to it. Instead of just pulling away right away, you're going to let your hand linger there. You're going to hold her hand for a couple extra seconds while you give her highly sexualized eye contact. Now, to pull that handshake off properly, there's a lot more to it than that. But the point is, look, you've got to introduce yourself to the girl anyway. So why not use this as an opportunity to break through that touch barrier and make her feel the butterflies inside immediately? You can also give the girl a high five or a fist bump to break the touch barrier, and you're going to use that when you qualify her. So say she says something cool to you or something interesting, like she's like, I'm from Mexico. Well, you can reward her. Oh, you're from Mexico? That's awesome. And you lift your hand up and you step in to meet hers. And boom, that touch barrier is broken. She's now inside your space where you're leading the feeling. And yes, these touches, sure, they seem innocent on the surface, but what they really do is they create that sexual spark inside of her. They flip your energy from being safe and forgettable to being alive, unpredictable, and having that bad boy edge. Now, once you've punched through, once you have broken through that touch barrier with the girl, the next level of creating sexual tension with her is what I call inspection touches, okay? These are the touches that create that real sexual tension, that slow burn spark that makes her body react before her brain even knows what's going on. And here's how an inspection touch really works. You're not just touching her just to touch her, okay? You are inspecting something. You're inspecting something she's wearing, where you're curious and you're noticing the details. For example, say she's wearing a bracelet on her wrist. You might reach out, you inspect the bracelet, and you gently touch her wrist in the process, and you tell her, oh, what's this? It's actually kind of beautiful. Or say she's wearing a necklace around her neck. Well, all you're going to do is reach out and touch the chain, inspecting it. In the process, your fingers graze her collarbone and you say, oh, what's this really beautiful necklace? Or maybe you notice she's got a tattoo or she's got a new hairstyle. That right there is the perfect excuse, gentlemen. You're going to inspect it. You're going to run your fingers along it. Now, the magic of the inspection touch is that it carries plausible deniability behind it. Where you're not being forward, you're not just reaching out and touching her for no reason. No, you're noticing something. That makes it socially acceptable. And it lets you slide past her logical mind straight into her emotional center. Now, if you want me to do a breakdown of how to pull off different inspection touches and how to do it with total confidence, with zero creep factor and perfect timing, simply write the word touchdown down in the comments below, and I'll do a full breakdown in some future video for you. Now we move on to the next level here, what I call hot spot touches. And this is where things get really juicy, really electric, where you're no longer just touching one spot on her, but you're guiding her to full body awareness, slowly, deliberately, touching all of her most sensitive zones, each one loaded with more nerve endings than the last. And you do this all under one simple frame: exploration. So here's precisely how I run a basic hotspots routine on a beautiful girl I'm talking to. I'll tell her, you know, Sarah, did you know that you've got these hot spots all over your body? Yeah, it's like when you touch these certain spots, your body lights up because these special spots have extra exteroceptors, extra nerve endings, that when they're touched, they just light up like a Christmas tree. And everybody has their own favorite hotspot. I'm kind of curious, which is your favorite? Let's find out. And I'm getting her to agree. I'm getting her to say yes to find out which is her favorite hotspot. And once she agrees, once she verbally says yes, now it is time to go exploring. Now I have permission from her to touch her wrist, to touch her arm, to touch her neck, to touch her back, looking for which one is her favorite hotspot. And the beauty of using this is that it feels playful to the girl. It feels spontaneous. It feels natural, even though what I'm really kind of doing is just feeling her up all over her body, right? Without any resistance. Now, most guys do ruin this because they rush through it. They're too nervous. They're touching her too much. They're touching her too heavy. They're touching her too obviously. So the way you really want to do a hot spots routine is you're giving her these feather light touches. Feather light, barely touching her. Moments that feel almost accidental, but they're still going to land with impact, because when it comes to touch, less is more. Less is more. You're not manhandling her here. And if you want me to show you exactly how to pull off the sort of routine with the right tone, the right pacing, the right delivery, because you got to say it in the right way, check the link in the description below. Get in touch with me for the one-on-one coaching. Now, this next one, I love this touch, guys. This is what I call the Inception touch. This is where we get the girl touching you. You've probably seen that movie Inception, right? The one with Leonardo DiCaprio. And if you haven't seen it, you want to go watch it. This is the movie where they plant an idea deep inside someone's mind so it feels like it was their idea all along. They implant a foreign idea into their dreams so that they think it was their idea. And that's kind of what we're doing here, except with touch. Now, when it comes to most guys, they're the ones reaching out to the girl physically. They're chasing after touches for her. They're grasping out to touch her. And every touch kind of has this needy vibe to it. But Inception flips the whole script. You're not chasing her anymore. No, you are giving her the gift. You are giving her the experience of chasing after a man, of chasing after you. Now, here's how Inception touches work. All you're going to do is you're going to take her hands and guide them onto your body. You're going to take her hands and guide them onto your hips. You're going to take her hands and guide them onto your chest. You're going to take her hands and guide them around your shoulder. So it's almost like she's initiating the touch on you, even though you're the one leading her to do it. And I know it sounds so damn obvious, like, Jesse, would this even really freaking work? What are you talking about? But this is why it works so damn well. The female brain really doesn't separate actions from intent. So when her hand is resting on your chest, when her arms are resting around your waist, in her mind, she kind of just assumes it was her idea. It was her curiosity. It was her desire that made her do it, even though you put her hands there. And that's how you stop being the pursuer and you become the prize. Because in a good seduction, it should be the girl is gaming you. Again, in a good seduction, it should look like the girl is gaming you. And if you want me to show you how to do this naturally, how to pull it off step by step, simply drop the word Inception down in the comments below and I'll cover it in full detail in a future video. Now, before we get to this final type of touch, and this one is critical to learn to maximize the sexual chemistry, maximize the sexual tension that you're building with the girl. If you keep seeing beautiful women out in the world, at the cafe, at the gym, walking by, and deep down, you know that you could have talked to her, but you just let her slip through your fingers. You lost that first date. You lost that interaction with her. You let her walk away. This next part, you got to listen up. You are not broken. It's just that nobody has ever shown you how to flip those casual moments into real magnetic connection with a woman. But that's exactly what I do. For over 20 years, I've coached hundreds of men step by step, how to walk up to a beautiful woman, start a conversation with her, and turn that into what I call a conversion conversation. The kind of conversation that takes a random encounter with a beautiful woman and sparks it into something more, sparks it into sexual chemistry that she cannot ignore. In my 3-month coaching program, we have got a 95% success rate in delivering men the results they want. So if you're done watching life happen to you from the sidelines and you're ready to date the kind of women that you actually want, the women that you want, click on the link in the description below. There's a free video there that breaks it all down for you. Exactly how the coaching works and how to apply to work with me personally, one-on-one, where I will guide you every step of the way to success. Now, the final category of touch, gentlemen, is the physical dominance touch. This is where you kiss her. But not some lame first kiss kind of way where you come across as nervous and awkward. No, a dominant first kiss where you build up so much chemistry, so much sparkling 10 out of 10 sexual tension that girl is now dying to kiss you by the time you get around to doing it with her. Physical dominance touches. These are moves like putting your fingers through her belt loops, suddenly yanking her in close to you, where she's real close, like you're about to kiss her, and she's feeling that heat of the tension, wanting it so badly, and yet you just push her away. Physical dominance touches, these are like reaching around behind her neck, grabbing a small tuft of hair, giving it a very gentle, very light pull, but essentially demonstrating how you would pull her hair in the bedroom. Or pushing her up against a wall, pinning her hand up behind her head, and moving in like you're about to kiss her, but not giving her what she wants, pulling it away to create maximum sexual tension. And gentlemen, yes, you can do these moves out in public with her, at a bar, on a first date with her, to build sexual value with her, to build sexual tension to a 10 out of 10 level where her pussy is dripping wet for more, where she cannot wait to go home with you. Now, to pull off these dominance touches, you do need to set some identity frames first. Identity frames are where you get her to agree that she's, say, adventurous, spontaneous, fun, open-minded, that she's submissive, that she likes dominant men who go for what they want. You want her to verbally agree to these frames before you start doing these dominance moves. But once you set the right identity frames, now you can get away with all sorts of highly sexual physical dominance touches that would normally get any other guy slapped right across the face, and yet you can get away with it. Now, you got to remember this, gentlemen. This is super important. It's not enough just to touch a woman. You've also got to learn how to talk to her, how to speak to her, because the right words, when used in the right way, can hit her even harder than touch itself. So in this video right here, I'm going to show you exactly how to twist her mundane, everyday, boring words coming out of her mouth into pure sexual obsession for you. This right here is the conversation hack that makes even the most guarded, the most rule-following woman break her own rules. It's what separates you from 99% of the other guys out there. And honestly, once you do this, it almost feels like cheating. So go watch that video right now.